One night, just days before we were supposed to say our vows, Emily came home late, cradling a bag of takeout her usual after a long day at the office. But something was different. The air between us felt heavy, strange, almost electrified. With something unspoken, she avoided my gaze, offered no kiss, no smile, not even her habitual tired joke about rush hour traffic. We sat down to eat, the silence between us thick enough to chew. Halfway through the meal, she set her chopsticks down with trembling hands. Her voice broke the stillness like a cracked bell. "We need to talk," she said, barely above a whisper. I laid my fork aside, bracing for whatever came next. She moved to the counter, arms wrapped tightly around her torso, like she was holding herself together. Her voice faltered. "I don't know if I can go through with the wedding." I didn't react, not right away. I just looked at her, letting the weight of her words settle. Then came the name I hadn't heard in years. "I've been talking to Caleb again," she confessed, her voice carrying guilt and hesitation in equal measure. My stomach sank. Caleb, her ex, the one she once called the biggest mistake of her life, the man who, according to her, taught her everything she never wanted in a partner. Apparently, that lesson had expired. "I thought he was out of your life," I said, keeping my tone even. "He reached out last month. Just a message." We started chatting. It wasn't supposed to mean anything, but it does now, or it might. I don't know. "So, you're choosing him over me?" I asked. She didn't answer right away. Her eyes dropped to the floor. "I'm not sure yet." "You are," I said flatly. She packed a small overnight bag and told me she'd be staying at Laura's for a few days. She asked me not to make a scene. I didn't. I stood at the door as she walked out, her steps light and unburdened, like she hadn't just shattered the life we were building. That night, I cried once, quietly. Then I stood in the kitchen, staring at the wedding checklist still pinned to the fridge. I tore it down, opened the drawer, and pulled out the ring box, the one holding a custom platinum band with a flawless emerald-cut diamond flanked by sapphires, $11,000, designed for her hand alone. I held it like it might explode. By Friday, I had a plan. First, I called the venue. They were sympathetic, but the deposit was gone. $12,000 vanished with a phone call. The florist gave the same cold answer. The caterer allowed me to downsize the order just enough to salvage a few $100s, but there were no refunds. Next, I took the ring to a trusted jeweler. They cleaned it, studied it under the glass, and offered me $6,800 in cash. I didn't hesitate. That night, Emily started calling. The first missed call came at 9:12 p.m. By midnight, there were 10 more, along with for texts. "Where's the ring? We should decide together what to do with it. It was expensive. We could sell it, split it, be fair." I didn't answer. The next morning, she tried again. I picked up. "What's going on?" I asked. "The ring," she said quickly. "My mom's asking if it's insured, where it is, if it's safe. Maybe we should, I don't know, figure it out together." "No need," I told her. "I sold it." A long pause. "You sold it?" "Without telling me." Her voice cracked with disbelief. "Arthur, that ring was ours. You could have talked to me. You left." I said calmly. "You picked someone else. That ring was for a wedding you walked away from, but it was valuable." She pressed. "I know. That's why I sold it. The money's helping cover the wedding costs you left behind." Her tone turned sharp. "That's vindictive." "No," I said. "It's practical." Later that evening, Laura called. "Arthur, I'm just trying to keep the peace," she began. "Emily's overwhelmed. Her parents are too. There's still a balance on her dress. They were hoping you might." "No," I cut her off. "Tell them to stop asking me for money." I didn't call off the wedding. The next morning, an email arrived from Susan, Emily's mother. The subject line, "A reasonable solution for everyone." She listed expenses: $800 for dress fittings, $600 for her own gown, $1,000 for the rehearsal dinner, $200 for half the bridesmaid gifts. She finished with a guilt-laced suggestion that I do the right thing and cover those costs. Citing tradition, I replied simply, "My losses exceed $20,000. I will not be covering anyone else's costs. This matter is closed." No response. Came 2 days later, I got an email confirming check-in at the honeymoon resort. 6 nights in the Bahamas, oceanfront king suite, champagne breakfasts, all paid for in advance. I considered canceling, accepting the loss, but instead, I called. Derek, my best friend since college. I hadn't told him the wedding was off. When I did, he let out a stunned exhale. "Wanna come to the Bahamas with me?" I asked. He didn't ask questions, just said, "Tell me what to pack." The next day, Emily texted from a new number. "I know things are messy, but since the honeymoon's already paid for, maybe Caleb and I could go instead. Get out of your way. Think of it as a peace offering. A peace offering." She wanted to use my honeymoon as a romantic getaway with her ex. I responded, "It's booked in my name, non-transferable. I'm going with someone who didn't leave me days before the wedding." Sometimes the best answer is silence followed. Buy plane tickets. The calls kept coming. But the boutique where she'd ordered her dress was the most persistent. They had my name listed as a secondary contact. The final payment, $1,200, was due. If unpaid, it would go to collections. I explained the engagement was over. Not my responsibility. They said her contact info bounced back. I gave them her new number and hung up. A voicemail followed hours later. Her voice was fragile. "Arthur, the dress shop's threatening my credit. My parents are furious. Caleb's, he's trying. But he didn't sign up for this. Please call me." I didn't, not because I didn't care. I had, deeply. But when someone detonates your life, you don't rush in to shield them from the fallout. You let them live in what they chose. That weekend, Laura texted again. "Emily's spiraling. Her parents are blaming her. Caleb's pulling away. She's falling apart." I read it. Deleted it. People break when the consequences arrive. They thought they were clever enough to avoid. After that, I stopped answering calls that didn't begin with accountability or end in silence. Mutual friends began reaching out, some expressing sympathy, others seeking gossip. I never badmouthed Emily, but I didn't shield her either. Word got around. She told people I'd grown distant, claimed she'd tried to talk, that Caleb's return was coincidence. Sure, right before the most expensive day of our lives. Laura texted one last time. "She misses you. She realizes what she lost." I didn't reply. Realization isn't redemption. It's just regret with bad timing. By then, I'd moved out of our shared apartment, taking only what I'd paid for. I rented a quiet 1-bedroom across town, a place with no ghosts and no memories stitched into the walls. One night, while unpacking, I found our wedding planner binder in a forgotten box. I flipped through it. Venue brochures, caterer notes, flower samples. It didn't hurt. It just felt done. I kept one page, a list of every dollar I'd lost. Not for revenge, just proof that I survived. 6 months passed. Calmly, no rebounds, no dating apps. I buried myself in work, the gym, and freelance projects I'd neglected. The Bahamas trip with Derek turned out to be better than expected. Sun, surf, no drama. We didn't speak her name once. I later heard the dress debt had caught up with Emily. Her parents wouldn't help. Caleb, when asked, reportedly said, "It wasn't my wedding." She'd taken a second job to make payments. One afternoon, I saw her at the grocery store. She froze when she spotted me. I didn't. She started, then stopped. "You look well." "I am," I said. She nodded, her eyes damp. "You seem content." I didn't deny it. She lingered a moment longer, like she wanted to say something that might rewrite the past. But it wouldn't. It couldn't. She stepped aside, and I walked on, groceries in hand, heart light, and didn't look back.